Live stream and drinking game. So excited to be joined by the amazing guests that you see before you. Who am I talking about when I say these amazing guests? I'm talking about Leslie Lee, the third of Struggle Session. Hello, Leslie. Say hello to everyone, and everyone say hello to Leslie.
Hey, Kay, how's it going? Happy
Good.
to be back here on the Kay Halper Show.
Yes, all Katie Halper Show viewers know and adore Leslie. Another usual suspect in the best way, Briahna Joy Gray of Bad Faith Podcast. She's coming in. So happy to have Briahna on.
It's always a pleasure, Katie. Always.
And Daniel Bessner, who is not as much of a repeat offender as Leslie and Brie, but we're going to work on him. He's graced the show with his presence before, and we're so excited to have him back. And he's of the American Prestige Podcast and an historian. And yes, I prefer saying it with an N before.
Well, for New York, right? I think I would say an historian because we like aspirate the H, right?
Oh, right. So we aspirate,
and historian. Yeah.
And historian, yeah.
Yeah.
So we are so excited. Before we get into the stream of watching the State of the Union, and I want to thank everyone for coming because it takes a lot of, your gag reflexes are going to have to be very well honed. I want to thank everyone for making the sacrifice and watching with us. But here, I made some drinking rules, and I'm going to be honest. I'm going to divide these drinking rules by like 8 or 9 because I don't want to I can't get plastered. I have a podcast to record tomorrow. In fact, I'm not going to give anything away, but someone on this stream may or may not be one of the guests who's an historian may or may not be on Useful Idiots this week. I'll just leave it at that. So we'll have to wait and see who that is. But here are the drinking rules. So everyone grab a drink. And of course, Leslie, you don't drink, right?
No, I don't drink.
So this is a safe space for everyone. And I'm going to modify be at your own pace. Follow Leslie for modifications. Here are the drinking rules. Drink every time Kamala Harris looks like she's about to lunge towards Biden to save him from falling over. Also drink every time Kamala Harris looks like she's about to lunge towards Biden in order to push him over. Every time Joe Biden blames the Republicans for blocking something he could push forward with the stroke of a pen. Every time Joe Biden talks about Russia in a way that Reagan Reagan talks about Russia, or in a way that W talked about Iraq. Joe Biden talks about China in a way that Reagan talked about Russia, or in a way that George W. Bush talked about Iraq. Drink every time Joe Biden stumbles while trying to speak. Drink every time Joe Biden talks about who we are, the soul of the nation, meeting the moment, or does a Hillary or Pete Saw platitude about unity or the soul of the nation or whatever, as Why Are You Laughing 418 suggested. Every time Joe Biden brings up Trump for no reason. Every time Joe Biden mentions lethal or non-lethal weaponry. Every time Joe Biden condemns Russia for something for which he could but won't condemn Israel or Saudi Arabia or the United States. Every time Joe Biden makes a forced personal anecdote about hardworking folks. Every time Joe Biden calls Putin Khrushchev. Every time Joe Biden ad-libs a false arrest. Every time a member of the Progressive Caucus stands up to clap for something that is not at all progressive. Every time Joe Manchin, and or Sinema, Kirsten Sinema, sit on their hands with Republicans. And drink every 8th time Joe Biden fumbles, falls asleep, dies. So I think we have it covered. Those are the drinking rules, and we have it in the link in the chat. Any predictions that you guys want to make about what we're going to be seeing tonight?
I'm going to be told. I think we're going to be told the State of the Union is strong, in spite of all evidence to the contrary.
I think we're going to be told that because of Ukraine, we have to do more drilling at home and basically throw any kind of Green New Deal promises out the window.
Okay.
Yeah, I predict something about a coalition of democracies or the democratic world. Biden might even use the free world, which hasn't been used since 1953, but you never know. So something like that, something along those lines.
Wow. So that's going to be like double, like we got to really drink if he does the free world. Keep on rock. You know what? That would be really great because you know who likes to say that is what's his name? Kennedy from the Southern senator who actually said, I think he said about Biden. He said Biden's going to keep on rocking the free world, which he meant as an insult, but it's like a Neil Young song.
Yeah,
he said that about him recently. Oh, I know what it was. It was about like having stations for safe injection sites. He was very upset about the safe injection sites. So and that was the context in which he used the term "rocking the free world." So let's see if we got this. Okay, here we go. Can you guys hear?
Yeah.
Yes.
All
Yes,
right.
ma'am.
Yes, yes, ma'ams. Yes, sirs.
Oh, there's Secretary Cardoza, who's shaking everybody's hand and not canceling my student debt.
Canceled. He's canceled for that. Look at Kavanaugh. He's such a weirdo. Oh, there's Janet Yellen with Blinken. Daniel,
So this is supposed to start.
Back. Sorry.
Yeah. No, you go.
No, we got to push back. We have to make sure. Oh, is that Cinema? What is she wearing?
Yeah, that's Cinema.
Awful.
Yeah, for sure.
Awful.
Yeah.
Hideous.
Guys, that's peak fashion Kate Spade 2007. I don't know what you guys are talking about.
I know. She is very fashionable. I mean, she was ahead of her time in the movie Clueless.
Has anyone ever profiled her costumer? That would be really interesting.
No,
like who's dressing her? That's a good
They
piece.
did do a fashion piece on her in the New York Times. I don't know if she had a costumer, but they did do a piece on
I think
her.
her costumer's name is Kirsten Cinema.
Yeah, that's what I'm.
Yeah.
It's just like this is from the heart that she's expressing herself.
Which makes it worse, actually. Look at Breyer. He has literally no one to talk to on the right of the screen. It's so sad. Okay, someone shaking his hand. But before that, he was literally looking around. Yellow really pops, huh? There's
What would
Blinken.
you wear, Katie, if you were in the room? Would you try to pop?
Honestly, I would ask Briahna Joy Gray for some tips. I would, because I feel like you're very good at this.
Oh, Pelosi went muted today.
Very muted.
Interesting. Very muted.
Oh, no,
yeah.
not muted. She's blue. For her,
No,
I
but
guess
it's a muted blue.
It's a muted blue. You're very right.
Say what you will, but she always looks fabulous.
Yeah, she does. She does dress
puts
well.
every ounce of that money that she has into looking great.
No, that is true. That is a muted blue for Pelosi.
Yeah, she usually wears lighter clothing.
Why is Kamala wearing that shade of brown?
Yeah.
It's almost the same color as the chair.
I know.
What's confusing about Kamala is that she is a beautiful woman, and she
What a
has people
slob
around
he
her
looks
that
like.
understand fashion, like her
Right.
niece, very famously. But there doesn't seem to be a meeting of the minds there.
Can I say something? You know what I think it is? I
What's that?
think it's she doesn't know how to deal with having big breasts. No, that's not. That's not an insult at all. I think
Katie,
she's
how
a
does that-
buxom
how does that-
because
how
I
does
think
that-
she honestly doesn't know how to hide. She feels like she needs to hide them.
But Katie, how's that germane to her color choices and things
It
like that?
throws the whole thing off. In fact, it totally makes sense because if she,
Can't be
as
a part of
Leslie
this.
said, she's trying to match the chair. She's being self-effacing because she has a big bosom.
I can't be a party to this.
You know who else does that? I think, although she's better for AOC. I'm not going to name any names, but the person who told me this is someone who works in fashion. And I love you and you love me. And you should really appreciate that I'm not telling anyone who you are, lady, but you know who I'm talking about.
That's
Yeah.
a legitimate conundrum, I will say.
Yes, it is.
Although it's not a problem for Nancy Pelosi.
Because she's older.
No, Nancy Pelosi is stacked.
She's stacked, but she
manages
embraces
it
the
nicely.
stacked. Yes. Also, I will say, well, I was going to say she's petite, which she is, but so is AOC.
All the men are in this conversation are like,
Can't say anything.
Not say
But I think
No, I actually just want. I think it would be unfair if we didn't talk about the men's fashion. I wanted to say Kavanaugh's tie is hideous.
Is
Looks
it?
like
I can't
something
see
a
it.
child would have bought him. Just the color and shape, very cheap for a very rich guy. I hate the guys wearing the military uniforms.
Oh yeah.
That guy, whoever that guy is, I like the tie. I like the
popping
tie.
That guy
Purple,
kind of
yeah.
looks like Jonah Hill to the left.
He
of
does
him.
kind of look like it, yeah. And then I liked, you know, who looks like an absolute slob is Ted Cruz. We saw him briefly with Lindsey Graham. He just looked like such a hot mess. Everything that like James Adomian and there's Meeks. Everything James Adomian and Tony Adamak. I can never remember how to say his last name. I'm sorry, but the Bernie and Trump duo.
Mhm.
Everything they say about Ted Cruz in character is true. Like was born in a dumpster covered in goo. I can't remember what it is, but it was pretty good. Tony said that about him. But look, now that I said the thing about the bustiness, you're going to look and you're going to be like, it makes sense.
But I mean, okay, so my issue though is that again, not to linger and malinger on elected official, particularly female elected officials, erogenous zones, but I do feel like like Nancy Pelosi dresses her figure very well,
Yeah.
and she is also a blessed woman in that respect.
And well-endowed woman. Yeah.
Well, I'm
Look,
just not. I'm just
I
gonna
can't
let
say.
Kamala off the hook.
I see what you're saying. I'm going to say something. It's very. Don't you think there's some? This is going to sound crazy, but there's some white privilege. I'm not even kidding. There's white privilege in how, like, sexualized you're allowed to be.
So Kamala would be called a harlot.
Oh, absolutely.
Right?
Speaker,
She had the cleave.
President of the United States.
Why is someone wearing knee highs? Who is that person? She's wearing knee highs. Did anyone see that? Is that
I missed
allowed?
it.
We're gonna have to watch this later. That woman right there. Who is she, and why is she wearing knee highs?
Like boots?
Maybe they're like clot proof. And I'm gonna get in trouble.
Love the hair though. Hair
Yeah, who is she?
very
Is it
cool.
that
Who
like a
is she?
sergeant at arms?
Oh, if she has some like prosthetic thing, I'm gonna be in so much trouble.
Biden. I
She
wonder where
looks
he
kind
thinks
of
he is.
devious.
Oh, nice scarf.
Nice
What
scarf,
is
I
that?
know. He looks
Is
like
that
a
scarf?
cantor or something, doesn't he?
He's wearing a tallis.
Yeah.
Biden looks a little tired.
Yeah, he does.
He shines
little
in these
worse for wear.
contexts often, but he seems just a little slow today. A little tired.
Doesn't that clap sound a little like fratish or something? Like they're saying like chug, chug, chug or something?
Why are they starting it so late? It's not good for Biden to start so late.
Yeah, he's sundowning.
I didn't say that.
I still want to know who this woman is. Okay, please show her knee highs. I'm not making this up. Okay, you can see some flesh, but if you see... Oh,
Yeah,
damn it.
I do.
We'll see it later. They're definitely knee highs.
I saw.
You saw, right?
I saw. I mean,
There's Briar.
maybe she's like, I don't know.
There they are. You can see them. They're either boots or knee highs. You see? Oh,
I think maybe boots.
It's just boots.
get out of the way, people. There.
A calf.
You
no
don't want to
one
see
wears
knees
boots.
showing on this.
It's just
Is
a boot.
what you're saying, Katie? You don't want to see anybody's knees at
But
the
who
State
wears
of the
boots
Union.
at these things? I mean, is that a coincidence? They finally show a wide shot when she's out of the frame. This is why you guys tuned in for this this
This
analysis.
is hard hitting. Yeah,
Yeah.
good fashion talk.
Oh, what do we make
Daniel,
of the
you
mask?
did start it off with the muted, but I'm
Thank you.
thank
You're
you.
welcome.
I'm grateful. Yeah.
What do we make of the masklessness?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
you're right.
good point.
Good
I
point.
guess it's over.
Well, who's that outlier?
Yeah,
Who
oh
takes
my
COVID
God.
very seriously?
Well, the minions always have to wear masks and things.
Right.
It's not
I
a deal.
Yes,
have
to
the
help.
high privilege and distinct honor of presenting to you the President of the United States.
What's that book he's holding? His speech?
What are they excited about? What are they happy
They are.
about?
Don't they seem very? Is this their first like post-mask speech or something? They do seem very pumped.
Well, it's the first one, right? Because
It's his first State of the Union.
last time he gave it outside or whatever, right?
Right.
And they're probably pumped about Ukraine too. It's like they
Oh,
could all
yeah,
agree
right.
with each other.
Oh yeah, there's a war.
Oh,
Yeah.
You know, it's like we could get back to what we're used to.
Yeah, it's true.
I gotta say,
Thank
he always
God.
just goofy to hang the flag
Thank
that
you all
way.
very much.
I know.
Thank you, gentlemen.
He's really goofy looking.
Thank you.
Bad aesthetic on the State of the Union.
They should put like torches.
Who are the ones on the
either side.
outside?
Thank you all very, very much.
I don't know.
I think it's pathetic. We can see the
Please.
teleprompters. I'm sorry. I think it
Thank you
is.
so much. Madam Speaker, Madam Vice President, our First Lady and
She's
Second
blending
Gentleman,
way too much.
members of Congress and the Cabinet, Justice of the Supreme Court, my fellow Americans. Last year, COVID-19 kept us apart. This year, we're finally together again. Tonight,
They got to stop with this clapping thing.
I know,
This is
it's
a terrible
ridiculous.
tradition.
It's like a celebration. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, we finally have our first
Democrats,
office
Republicans,
party
Independents,
since COVID.
but most importantly, as Americans, with the duty to one another,
Kamala looks
To
like
America,
she's holding in a fart or
to the
something.
American people, to the Constitution, and an unwavering resolve that freedom will always triumph over tyranny.
I feel like
This
that's one of
norm
my
is
drinking
terrible.
rules. Oh God.
Oh no!
Makes it
oh
so
no!
much longer
Oh.
than it needs to be.
I know.
Oh, and they're socially distanced. I see.
Yeah,
Okay.
there's like semi-socially distanced,
the
right?
point?
It's semi.
Silly. This is getting so silly.
It's so silly. It's like
Go
6
big or go
days
they
ago,
home.
don't have masks. So
Russia's
Yeah.
Vladimir
I don't know that I'd be
Putin sought to
mad.
shake the very foundations of the free world.
Starting with
Free
it.
world, free
Thinking he
world,
could make
Daniel.
it bend.
Free
Yeah,
world.
There
Drink.
we go.
To his menacing ways. But he badly miscalculated. He thought he could roll into Ukraine and the world would roll over. Instead, he met with a wall of strength he never
Stumbled.
anticipated
A mall
or
of strength.
imagined. He met the Ukrainian people.
That's why they're pumped. You know,
Yeah,
they're-
they are
it allows them to go to this old script for real. They all
Right.
seem like energized.
Yeah.
A friend
who's-
of mine just
that's
texted me.
ambassador.
Zelensky,
A friend just texted me, did your girl know she was going to match with a leather chair?
Ukrainian
Everybody's
Ukrainian
singing the thing.
their courage and determination literally inspires the world. Groups of citizens blocking tanks with their bodies. Everyone from students to retirees
Grandmas.
to teachers
Oh.
turned soldiers
That's always
defending their
great.
homeland. And in this
I thought this,
struggle,
speech was
President
supposed to be about
Zelensky said in his
America.
speech to the European Parliament,
Not you.
light
not
will
the
win over
braveness of
darkness.
the Ukrainian people.
The Ukrainian ambassador to the United States is here tonight, sitting with the First Lady.
She got a
Let each
haircut.
of us, if you're able to stand and send an unmistakable signal to the world.
Why wouldn't she be able to stand?
That was an interesting locution.
You know why he said that? Because once he said to someone, get up, and he was in a wheelchair. That's true. That happened once. Remember that? I think he
He's
never
worried
recovered
about
from
that.
I can
that.
see that.
Yeah.
Let the man learn and grow.
Yeah, there's that search for romanticism. You know, it's like an aromantic age, and there's something to believe in again.
Ukraine.
That's so
Ukraine.
awkward.
Fighting
Hug
in
with
Ukraine.
Jill.
Oh, interesting.
I like the
that's where
Ukrainian
they
garb
seated.
behind that you can't really see.
Yes. We, the United States of America, stand with the Ukrainian people. Throughout our history,
And the Yemeni people,
we've learned this lesson.
Palestinians.
When dictators do not pay a price for their aggression, they cause more chaos. They keep moving. And the cost, the threats to America to the world keeps rising.
I can't believe he
That's
threw
why the NATO
Mohammed
alliance
bin
was created,
Salman
to
under the
secure
bus like
peace and
that.
stability in Europe after World War II. The United States is a member, along with 29 other nations. It matters. American diplomacy matters. American resolve matters. Putin's latest attack on Ukraine was premeditated and totally unprovoked.
Lie.
He rejected repeated efforts at diplomacy. He thought the West and NATO wouldn't respond. He thought he could divide us at
Lincoln's
home,
like, that's not
in
true,
this
but
chamber, in
I
this
like it.
nation. He thought he could divide us in Europe as well. But Putin was wrong. We are ready. We are united, and that's what we did. We stayed united. We prepared extensively and carefully. We spent months building coalitions of other freedom-loving nations in Europe and the Americas, from America to the Asian and African continents.
What's
Ooh,
happening?
he's kind of
To
losing
confront
it. He's
Putin.
kind of
Drink,
losing it.
drink.
Like many of you, I spent countless hours unifying
It's
your
very
European
frustrating
allies.
that you just can't point out that this
We
is a
shared
man
with the
who's seen
world in
better days.
advance what we
Right.
knew.
It's
Because
very
it's
obvious.
ageist.
It's common
and
sense
precisely
stuff.
how we would try to falsify.
It's
and
not ageist,
justify
I don't
his
think,
aggression.
you know?
We countered
Right,
Russia's
it's not.
lies with the truth.
I don't know what
And
he's
now-
celebrating. Like, what
now
has
that he's
the
acted,
quote unquote
free
world
world
done
is
to
holding
stop
him accountable.
Nothing.
Russian-
It's just
yeah,
this old
like
Along
what is
with
he talking
27
about?
members of the European Union.
What do you mean they're
including
holding him
France, Germany,
accountable,
Italy,
Leslie?
as well as countries
free
like the
world is
United
holding them
Kingdom, Canada,
accountable.
Japan, Korea, Australia, New Zealand, and many others, even Switzerland,
Whoa.
are inflicting pain on Russia
Oh, that's
and
great.
supporting the people of Ukraine. Putin is now isolated from the world.
It's very
more than he
strange
has
that he's spending
ever
so much
been.
time on this a little bit.
Together,
Yeah, but what else? This is like his go-to. I mean, this is great for him. He doesn't have to talk about all.
This
right,
signals
his values.
democratic
It's
strategy,
so
right?
great,
This is
yeah.
going to be the democratic thing. They didn't have
Yeah.
a message. Now they're going to try to
Now
do
they do,
this
yeah.
free
The
world
thing
thing.
is, like, wasn't his promise that Putin would not invade Ukraine because he was just going to be so much
together,
tougher
along with our allies,
on him
we
in the
are
first
right now
place?
enforcing
Isn't that the
powerful
promise?
economic sanctions. We're cutting off Russia's largest banks in the international financial system, preventing Russia's central bank from defending the Russian ruble, making
Whoa,
Putin's $630
whoa.
billion war fund worthless. We're choking Russia's access.
It's
What
like putting on an
fucking
old
rules?
glove.
Technology
you know?
that will
What'd you
sap its
say?
economic
It's like
strength
putting
and
on an old
weaken its
glove. It's
military
comfortable rhetoric
Yeah.
for
for
years to
him.
come.
This is where he spent most of
Tonight,
his political
I
career.
say to the Russian oligarchs and the corrupt leaders
Ugh,
who
the
built
worst.
billions of
Menendez.
dollars off this violent regime, no more. The United States,
They focus on Menendez because they figure that he
I mean
had the
it.
biggest Cold War erection of all of them.
That's the name of my ska band, Cold War
Department
Erection.
of Justice is assembling a dedicated task force to go after the crimes of the Russian oligarchs. We're joining with European allies to find and seize their yachts, their luxury apartments,
They have
their
so
private
much money
jets.
in
Oh,
Western
we're
financial
seizing
We're
yachts
coming
now.
for
I know,
your
big mansions.
ill-begotten gains. And tonight, I'm announcing that we will join our allies in closing off American airspace to all Russian flights, further isolating Russia. And
You
adding
fucking
additional
stand up
squeeze
for
on our
that?
economy.
They're such
Seems
ghouls.
insane. Seems insane to me.
You have
But they
no
did say they
idea
weren't
what's
going to do a
coming.
no-fly zone over Ukraine,
The
actually, because
ruble
that
has
would
already
be
lost
actual
30% of its
war.
value. The Russian
Right.
stock market has lost 40% of its value, and trading remains suspended. The Russian economy is reeling, and Putin alone is the one to blame. Together with our allies, we're providing support to the Ukrainians in their fight for freedom. Military assistance, economic assistance, humanitarian assistance. We're giving more than $1 billion of direct assistance to Ukraine, and will continue to aid the Ukrainian people as they defend their country and help ease their suffering.
I can't believe that didn't get a stand. Okay, there she goes. I want to see is that really a person behind her or just someone holding a
But
flag?
let me be clear.
Oh, that's a person with
Our
a
forces
Person
will
with
skirt.
the
not
Dress.
dress on.
engage
I know, but I don't
and
believe
will
until I
not
see the
engage
face.
in the conflict with Russian forces in Ukraine.
False flag.
Our forces are
Literally.
not going to Europe to fight Ukraine, but to defend our NATO allies in the event that Putin decides to keep moving west. For that purpose, we have mobilized American ground forces, air squadrons, ship deployments.
This is supposed to be
protect
State
NATO
of the
countries,
Union,
including
not
Poland,
State of
Romania, Latvia, Lithuania, and
Ukraine.
Estonia.
This is
And
his
as
best
I've made
issue.
crystal clear,
I know it is. It's his
the
best
United
domestic
States
issue.
and our allies will defend every inch of territory that is NATO territory with the full force of our collective power. Every single inch.
Ooh, she dressed. She dressed
Yes.
like Ukraine. I gotta start the
Yes,
commitment.
thank you for explaining why Putin invaded, because he didn't
Oh,
want
she did,
NATO
yeah. Oh,
on
there's
his border.
Scalise
Well, we're
and
clear on it.
McCarthy.
The Ukrainians are fighting back.
Who are they
with
talking to
pure
each other
courage.
behind?
But
Pure
the next few
courage.
days, weeks, and months will be hard on them. Putin has unleashed violence and chaos. But while he may make gains on the battlefield, he'll pay a continuing high price over the long run. And a pound of Ukrainian people, proud, proud people, pound for pound, ready to fight with
What
every
is he
inch of
talking
energy they
about?
have. They've known 30 years of independence, have repeatedly shown that they will not tolerate anyone who tries to take their country backwards. To all Americans, I'll be honest with you, as I always promised I would be. A Russian dictator invading a foreign country has cost around the world. And I'm taking robust action to make sure the pain of our sanctions is targeted at Russian economy. and
As
that we
opposed to
use
other
every tool
economies?
at our disposal to protect American businesses and
Yeah,
consumers.
this is
And what-
collective punishment.
Tonight,
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
one
can
from being
announce
targeted
the
to
United
Russian
States has
oligarchs to being
30
Russians
other
as a
countries to
whole.
release
And so the
60 million
caveating
barrels
language
of
doesn't make
oil
any
from
sense
reserves
anymore.
Yeah,
around the
none.
world.
Yeah, I think he exactly,
We'll
right?
lead
Because
that
the
effort.
difference would be the elites or the people. He's saying it's going to be the
30
people.
million
It's
barrels
not
of oil
targeted
to other
anymore. We're
countries.
still using
Yeah.
the targeted, like,
And we stand
vibes.
ready to do more if necessary, united with our allies.
I wonder if the U.S. would go to
These
World War
steps will
III
help
over
blunt
Poland.
gas prices here at home. But I know news about what's happening can seem alarming to all Americans. But I want you to know we're going to be okay. We're going to be okay.
I don't believe
When the
you.
history of this era is written, Putin's war in Ukraine will have left Russia
He's
weaker
getting emotional.
and the rest of the world
He's kind of
stronger.
dressed like Ukraine, too.
Well,
Yeah, he is. You're right. Muted Ukraine, though.
while it shouldn't have taken something so terrible for people around the world to see what's at stake, now everyone sees it clearly. We see the unity among leaders of nations, a more unified Europe,
Yep,
more
all the
unified
collective
West.
democracy stuff.
We see unity among the people who are gathering in cities and large crowds around
I don't
the
think it's
world,
going to
even
work.
in Russia.
I don't
To
think this is going to
demonstrate their
replace
support for the people of Ukraine.
terrorism
either.
The
terrorism
battle
as like
between
a
democracy and
imperial
autocracies.
justification du jour. I don't think it's
Democracies are
enough.
rising to the moment.
There's
And the
also like
world is
not,
clearly
there's
choosing to
fundamentally
side of
not
peace and
unity. That's the whole
security.
point of there being like a civil war.
This is the real test.
Right.
It's going to take time. So let us continue to draw inspiration from the iron will of the Ukrainian people,
Iron Will.
to our fellow Ukrainian
Iron
Americans.
Oh, wow.
to
She's
forge
really
the deep
all
bond
out.
that connects our two nations. We stand with you.
Like one
We stand
accessory
with
from
you.
being dressed like Ukraine.
Putin
I
may
realize.
circle Kyiv with tanks,
Yeah.
but he'll never gain
at the
the
guy
hearts
behind
and
her. He's
souls of
also
the Iranian
Ukraine.
people.
I hold this.
He'll never extinguish their love of freedom, and he will never, never weaken the resolve of the free world.
Those are all like, drink to those cliches. Resolve of the free world. I'm
That's
glad I
really-
didn't put it in free world. We'd be plastered, yeah.
It's early Cold War language. You know, it dissipated
It is
really
Cold War,
quickly
yeah.
by the mid 50s because it didn't really make sense or
meet
map onto
tonight
realities. It's,
in an
it's kind of
America that has
interesting he's
lived
using it so
through
much.
Two of the hardest years this nation has ever faced. The pandemic has been punishing, and so many families are living paycheck to paycheck, struggling to keep up with the rising cost of food, gas, housing, and so much more. I understand, like many of you did. My dad had to leave his home in Scranton, Pennsylvania to find work. So like many of you, I grew up in a family when the price of food went up, it was felt throughout the family. It
So
had an
20 minutes
impact.
in, he starts talking about
That's
domestic
one of the first
stuff.
things I
Yes,
did as
America.
president was fight to pass the American Rescue Plan.
He's talking about the
Because
literal
people
30s.
were hurting. We needed to act, and we did.
What's he lip syncing?
Really
Few pieces
relevant.
of legislation have done more at a critical moment in our history to lift us out of a crisis. It fueled our efforts to vaccinate the nation and combat COVID-19, delivered immediate economic relief to tens of millions of Americans. It helped put food on the table. Remember those long lines of cars waiting for hours just to get a box of food put in their trunk. It cut the cost of healthcare insurance. And as my dad used to say, it gave the people just a little bit of breathing room. Unlike the $2 trillion tax cut passed in the previous administration that benefited the top
Trump
1%
mentioned.
of Americans,
Trump
the
mentioned,
American
yeah,
Rescue
drink.
Plan.
Schumer
American
deciding.
Rescue Plan
Whoa!
helped work
That
with
Oh,
the
man.
people
Ooh,
left
yeah.
behind.
That was such a cuck move. He stood up, opened his hands to clap, and didn't clap. I don't even care what it is. Just commit, Chuck.
Yes. He looked around.
But what had been said?
Something
missed
about the
it.
rescue, the American Rescue Plan, right?
At that
I
moment,
think
he's
the
got to commit
Republicans
to
are
the
upset
full
because he
Arsenio
said-
Hall.
I know.
It worked. We created jobs, lots of jobs. In fact, our economy created over 6.5 million new jobs just last year. More jobs in 1 year than ever before in the history of the United States of America.
So
I
do you
did
guys
one
think
of
the
those.
better
The
strat?
economy
Sorry.
grew at a rate of
Oh, no, you go ahead. I'm sorry. I was just
5.7
talking
last
about I'm a
year, the
job
strongest
creator,
growth rate
that's
in
all.
40 years.
Do you guys
And the
think it's a
first step
better
in bringing
strategy
fundamental
to just
change
do
to
what
our
he's doing
economy
and pretend
that
like
hasn't worked
everything's
for
pretty
working people in
great
this
because
nation
of the
for
Carter
too long.
backfire?
For the past 40
so-called
years,
malaise speech.
we were told
because I feel like that has
tax
like
break for
freaked
those
out
at the top
Democrats and they
benefits
never
would trickle
admit
down and
when
everyone
something's wrong.
would benefit.
Yeah,
No,
they
the
have
alternative is that he
PTSD
could
That
just-
from
theory
it.
led to a weaker
Could
economic
just do
growth.
something like cancel
Lower
student
wages,
debt,
bigger
Well, that's not
legalize
happening.
marijuana, and then
I'm
brag
giving
about
that
it.
won't, yeah.
Come
and everyone
on,
else
that's never
in-
going to
in
happen.
nearly a century. Look,
But it's
Vice
interesting.
President
They
Harris
never
and I
admit
ran for
anything's
office,
wrong. It's like
and
it's
I
tough, but
realized
we're
we
doing
had
great
fundamental
always.
disagreements on this,
Right.
but ran for office with a new economic vision for America. Invest in America, educate Americans, grow the workforce, build the economy from the bottom up and the middle out, not from the top down, because we know,
What does that mean?
because
It's
we
literally
know.
meaningless.
It doesn't mean anything at all.
Everyone's an Uber driver. I mean, a small business owner. That's like what that means.
Because we know when the middle class grows,
Yeah.
when the middle class grows, the poor will way up and the wealthy do very well. America used to have the best roads,
Wait,
bridges,
it's
and
from the
airports on
bottom
earth.
up. If it's from the middle
And
class
now-
out, then the
Our
bottom is
infrastructure is
poor.
ranked 13th
So
in the world.
you're conservative and liberal at the same
Won't be able to
time. He's
compete
trying to do
for the job in the
bootstraps, but for the
21st
middle
century if we
class.
don't fix it. That's why it was
Oh my
so
God, look
important
at Pete.
to
Good
pass the
haircut.
bipartisan infrastructure
Oh, he's ready to
law.
go to
Really?
war.
They know how to look to. They go to him. They talk about infrastructure. They tee it all up.
I think that haircut is awful.
Rebuild America.
That's his. I'm about to go back to war.
That's his enlistment
military
haircut.
Yeah.
That's his war haircut.
In history. It was a bipartisan effort, and I want to thank the members of both parties who worked to make it happen.
Love bipartisanship.
We're done talking about infrastructure weeks. We're now talking about an infrastructure decade. And look,
Where?
Wow, he went there.
When?
Where? Is it like an admission that he's not going to do it within his term?
Yeah, right.
it's going to transform America to put us on a path to win the economic competition of the 21st century.
Here we go,
We
China.
face with the rest of the world, particularly China.
There you go.
I've told Xi Jinping
What do you tell him, Joe?
it's never been a good bet to bet against the American people.
Yeah,
We'll
sure
create
that's
good
good.
jobs for millions
Look
of
at that
Americans,
slob.
modernizing roads, airports, ports, waterways, all across
Such a
America.
slob.
And we'll do it
The guy you never
withstand
want to
the
talk to at the
devastating
family
I
have
reunion.
slob
climate change
solidarity.
and promote environmental justice. We'll build a
Bad-
national network
bad
of
suit.
500,000
Bad suit, you
electric
said,
vehicle
Leslie?
charging
Bad
stations.
suit. His suit.
Oh, bad
Begin
suit,
to
yeah, and
replace
bad
the
suit.
poisonous lead pipes left so
Material.
every
500,000
child, every
electrical
American has clean
vehicle
water to drink
things
at
is,
home
what,
and at
350
school.
million Americans.
Oh, they just made a kind of
We're
a
gonna
Flint,
provide-
Michigan
Yeah, he's going to
ref,
replace
but
the
what are they
pipes.
doing about it?
That
Are they
big
doing
deal.
anything about it?
That we get through? How
High-speed
much money is
internet
going
for
to that
every
through?
Yeah, what are they doing?
Rural,
Infrastructure.
suburban, urban, and tribal communities. 4,000 projects have already been announced. Many of you have announced them in your districts. And tonight, I'm announcing that this year, we will start fixing over 65,000 miles of highway and 1,500 bridges in disrepair.
Great. Let's stay with the fossil fuel part.
Yeah.
It's a great move for the future. Let's not invest in other forms of transportation.
Oh, yeah. Oh, this is all so depressing.
The highway
When we
system is so
use
interesting. It was like an auto
taxpayers'
industry
dollars
lobby
to
thing in
rebuild
the
America.
50s.
We're going to do it by buying American. Buy American products.
Buy American.
Support
We're going
American
to buy
jobs.
American oil, crack more American gas.
Yeah.
The federal government spends about $600 billion a year to keep this country safe and secure. There's been a law on the books
Wait,
for
what?
almost a century.
Yeah, what's he talking
to
about?
Make sure
That would be
taxpayers'
way lower
dollars
than the
support
defense
American
budget.
jobs and businesses. Every administration, Democrat and Republican, says they'll do it, but we're actually doing it.
You were
We'll
part of
buy
it when the
America
administration.
To make sure everything
right.
from
Kamala
the deck of
respects
an
him.
aircraft
I don't
carrier
think so.
to the steel on highway guardrails is made in America from beginning to end. All of it. All of it.
That really is a
Loki was
terrible
like,
suit.
not now. But she had to stand up because Kamala stood up.
Yeah. Not just as not
compete for the
it's not just a bad
jobs
color, it's a bad
Of the
fit.
future.
Very
We
boxy.
also need a level playing
At the
field
same time, Pelosi's
with
highlights.
China and other competitors.
Good,
That's
right?
why it's so important to pass
Yeah,
the
I heard of
Bipartisan
it.
Innovation Act sitting in Congress that will make record
That's what
investments in
money
emerging
looks like.
technologies and American
Kamala
manufacturing.
needs to ask her to take her
We
shopping.
used to invest almost 2% of our GDP
Is
in
Kamala
research
rich? I
and
actually don't
development.
know.
She's
We
not that
don't
rich.
now.
She
Not
can't
that
afford
rich.
Nancy's
Can't.
pearls.
China is.
And Nancy probably could
Let
tell.
me give
give
you
her
one
some
example
tips.
why it's so important to pass.
That
If
would
you
be
travel
a
20
great
miles east
like
of Columbus,
romantic
Ohio,
comedy, like
I
a
know,
or
it's
find
so
friend
good.
1,000
buddy
empty
comedy.
acres of
Yeah.
land.
Road
Kamala
trip.
and Nancy
It won't look
Pelosi.
like much.
Yeah, road trip.
If you
with
stop and
Kamala
look
Nancy.
closely,
Ooh, you could have Tina Fey
see
and
a
like
field of
as
dreams.
Pelosi and Kate McKinnon.
The ground
as a
on which
Kamala
America's
figure.
future will be built.
No, we got to cast
That's where
Kamala,
Intel,
right?
the American company, that
Maya-
helped build
Maya.
Silicon
Wouldn't be
Valley,
Tracy
Maya Rudolph,
Ellis
yeah, it's
Ross.
Maya Rudolph.
build a
Maya.
$20
But then we need
billion
an older
semiconductor
Nancy.
mega
What
site.
about Tracy Ellis Ross?
Up to 8 state-of-the-art factories
I can
in
see it.
one place.
Yeah.
Too likable.
10,000 new jobs. And
Look
in those
at
factories,
what's
the
his
average
name
job
with the
about
gravelly voice.
$135,
What's his name?
$135,000 a year.
From Ohio.
Some of the most sophisticated
Oh, yeah,
manufacturing in the world
He looks drunk.
to make computer
He usually
chips the
does.
size of a fingertip. The power of the world in everyday lives, from smartphones, technology, the internet, technology is yet to be invented.
Yeah, Sherrod Brown.
That's just the
Sherrod
beginning.
Brown. Thank you, Sherrod Brown. Yeah.
Intel CEO Pat Gelsinger,
Thanks,
who's here
Stephen.
tonight. I don't know where Pat is. Pat, there you go. Pat, stand up.
Who's Pat? Pat.
Pat.
I bet he can't stand up. He's not standing up.
Pat.
Oh, there he goes. Okay.
Okay.
This
Katie.
is only because because he once said it to someone who couldn't. That's why I thought he was being cautious and not
Pat
telling the
came to
other
see me. He
person to
told
stand
me
up.
They're ready to increase their investment from $20 billion
He's
to
CEO of Intel.
$100
Thanks, Brad.
billion. That would be the biggest investment in manufacturing in American history. And all they're waiting for is for you to pass this bill. So let's not wait any longer. Send it to my desk. I'll sign it. And we'll really take off in a big way. And folks,
Look at Kevin McCarthy texting. He's texting.
Bell is not alone.
Dude, the camera's on you.
He's testing something like you up.
Let's look around and you'll see an amazing story.
He's calling his
The rebirth
side
of
piece, I
pride
know
that
he
comes from stamping products made in America. The revitalization of American manufacturing. Companies are choosing to build new factories here when just a few years ago they would have gone overseas. That's what's happening. Ford is investing $11 billion in electric vehicles, creating 11,000 jobs across the country. GM is making the largest investment in its history, $7 billion to build electric vehicles, creating 4,000 jobs in
What
Michigan.
is she so excited for?
All told,
I know.
369,000 new
who is that?
manufacturing jobs
He's
are
like
created in
bubbling with
America
energy
last
for
I
year
know.
alone.
Is that Jennifer Granholm?
Jennifer Granholm.
Why is she so excited? I like that guy. He's not. Who is that little child? We're gonna learn
What
about
a
his mother,
weird
who's a
person to
hardworking,
focus on.
scrappy
Powered by
something,
people
right?
I've met like JoJo Burgess,
There you go.
generations of union steelworkers in Pittsburgh, who's here tonight. Where are you, JoJo? There you go. Thanks, buddy.
Let's see
As
JoJo.
Ohio,
Right.
as Ohio
Why
Senator
did they
Sherrod
make
Brown
JoJo wear
says,
the Ukraine sticker?
What, Leslie?
Why did they make JoJo wear that sticker?
I
You know why, Leslie.
and Sherrod Brown
You know
says
why.
it's time to bury the label Rust
Part
Belt.
JoJo.
It's time to see the what used to be called the Rust Belt become the home of
rust.
significant resurgence of manufacturing.
I feel like
And with
that's
all
not
the
what the
bright
line was.
spots in
No,
our
that was not the
economy,
line.
We don't want the
record job
Rust
growth,
Belt to
higher
become the
wages,
Russia
too
Belt.
many
Am I
families are
right?
struggling
Oh,
to
that's
keep
good.
up.
Hello.
I'd run on that.
Inflation is robbing them of gains they thought otherwise they would be able to feel.
Yeah, Laura Granholm
get
was
it.
high. Look like she
That's
was
why
high.
my top priority is getting prices under control. Look, our economy roared back faster than almost anyone predicted. But the pandemic meant that businesses had a hard time hiring enough people because of the pandemic to keep up production in their factories. So you didn't have people making those beams that went into buildings because they were out. The factory was closed. The panic also disrupted the global supply chain. Factories close. When that happens, it takes longer to make goods and get them to the warehouses, to the stores, and prices go up. Look at cars last year.
Or some people
1/3
need
of
to
all the
offer a living
inflation was
wage.
because of automobile
Yes.
sales. There weren't enough semiconductors to make all the cars that people wanted
Just
to buy.
consume,
guess what?
consume.
Prices
Buy
of automobiles
American.
went way up, especially used vehicles as well. And so we have a choice. One way to fight inflation is to drive down wages and make Americans poorer. I think I have a better idea to fight
Oh,
inflation.
Nancy Pelosi says no.
Lower your
Don't make Americans
costs,
poor.
not your wages. Folks,
Okay, it's so boxy. Like, where's
It's
the waist in that suit?
Still the consumer capitalism of the 1960s. It's wild. Even with all this labor
that means
agitation, they will
make
not
more
rethink
cars
their
and
model.
semiconductors in
All
America.
about consumption.
More
Always.
infrastructure and innovation in
It's
America.
like the carbon footprint talk, right?
More goods moving faster and cheaper in America. More jobs where you can earn a good living in America. Instead of relying on foreign supply chains, let's make it in America.
Is he going to mention who's responsible for moving all those
Look.
jobs overseas?
Economists,
Like, who's the enemy here in Joe Biden's mind?
Russia.
Yes, yes, it was them who made Clinton do it.
Oh my God, this is so painful.
economists call this increasing the productive capacity of our economy. I call it building a better America.
That sounds good.
My
Yeah.
plan to fight inflation will lower your costs and lower the deficit. 17 Nobel laureates in economics said my plan will ease long-term inflationary pressures. Top business leaders.
Economics, the
believe most
greatest
Americans
discipline.
support
Never
this.
gotten anything wrong.
Here's the plan.
17 nerds said my
First,
plan will work.
cut the cost of prescription drugs.
Didn't you not really prioritize that?
We pay more
It's so wild how in the university
for the
economics,
same
like
drug
economics professors make more
produced
money
by
than
the
other
same
professors.
company
Right.
And
in
literally
America
the
than any other
discipline has
country in the
gotten
world.
so much wrong
Just look at
over and
insulin.
over and over again.
1 in
I'm
10
having a
Americans
small
has
light
diabetes.
crisis that I'm going to be.
Oh.
In Virginia, I met a
Spirit.
13-year-old boy, the handsome young man standing up there, Joshua Davis.
He's cute, but he looks younger than 13, so I'm
He and
worried.
his dad both have type 1 diabetes.
Uh-oh. That's not related
That's
to
just
that,
gonna be a
right?
They
healthcare
need
thing, yeah.
insulin every single day.
He's so cute.
Insulin costs about $10 a vial to make. That's what it costs.
Joe Mann
the
should pay for it.
pharmaceutical company. But drug
'Cause his
companies
daughter.
charge families like Joshua and his dad up to 30 times that amount. I spoke with Joshua's mom. Imagine what it's
Drink.
like to look at
First
your
time
child
You heard
who
about
needs
this? You
insulin
had
to
to speak
stay
to
healthy.
Joshua like
and
yesterday.
Yeah,
have
seriously.
no idea how in God's name you're going to be able to pay for it. What it does to your family, but what it does to your dignity, your ability to look your child in the eye, to be the parent you expect yourself to be. I really mean to think about that. That's what I think
Why?
about.
You were supposed to be thinking about it and
You
know-
doing something about
Yeah.
it. Why
Yesterday,
we need
Josh
to
was
think
here
about
tonight, but yesterday was his birthday. Happy birthday, buddy, by the way.
Oh my God, he's so cute.
For Joshua,
it?
It's
He's
not
not
his
winning
fault.
me
He's a
over.
prop.
He's not winning me
and
over.
200,000
He's not
other
what?
young people
He's
with
not
type
winning
1
me over.
diabetes.
Sorry.
Let's
Oh, he's
cap the
so
cost
cute.
of insulin.
I think there's a clip on
$35 a
tie, if
month.
I'm being honest.
So everyone
That only
can
makes him
afford it.
much more adorable.
And drug companies will do very, very well. Their profit margin. While we're at it, I know we have great
Oh, that's
disagreements on
important.
this floor with this.
They'll still
Let's
make
let
money.
Medicare negotiate
Yeah.
the price of prescription drugs.
Whoa, Nancy leapt up.
They already
It looked like a pharmacy.
set the price for VA.
Look at Josh
drugs.
Cotton. What is he saying? And Olympia
Look, the
Snow.
American Rescue Plan is helping millions of
turn around.
families with Affordable Care Act plans to save them $2,400 a year on their health premiums. Let's close the coverage gap and make these savings permanent. And second,
Yo, he's squinting this entire
let's cut
time.
energy costs for families, an average of $500 a year by combating climate change. Let's provide an investment tax credits to weatherize your home
Oh,
and your
God, tax
business.
credits.
To be
Give
energy
people
efficient.
money.
Oh
Jesus
my
Christ.
God.
Credit for it. Double America's clean energy
It's so
production.
complicated.
in solar, wind, and so much more. Lower the price of electric vehicles, saving
Oh, she
another
looks
$80 a
beautiful.
month that
She
you're not going
does.
to have to pay at the pump. Folks, the third thing we can do to change the standard of living for hardworking folks is cut the cost of childcare. Cut the cost of childcare.
Nancy's smiling like she wrote that into the script.
I mean, Nancy had a lot of kids.
She
You
did.
live in a major city in America, you pay up to $14,000 a year for childcare per child. I was a single dad for 5 years, raising two kids. I had a lot of help, though. I had a mom, a dad, a brother, and a sister that really helped. But middle class and working folks shouldn't have to pay more than 7% of their income to care for the young children. My plan would cut the cost of child care in half for most families.
Wait, the State of the Union
and
is
help
supposed to be about
parents,
stuff
including
you've
millions of women who
done,
left the workforce
Right.
during
not
the
a
pandemic
campaign
because they
speech
couldn't
about
That's it,
stuff
yeah.
you
child care.
Leslie,
To be able to get
Biden's
back to
bragging
work.
about doubling child poverty.
Generating economic
Right.
growth. But my plan doesn't stop
The
there. It
children
also
have been
includes
kept
home
in
and
cages.
long-term care, more affordable
True.
housing, pre-K for 3
Yeah,
and
this
4
is
years
really, Leslie, it's a great point. It's
to lower
basically just a
costs
list
for
of things he'd like to do.
Under my plan,
And
nobody,
Ukraine.
let me say
And
this
Ukraine,
again,
and, like,
nobody
That's
earning
not a
less
State
than
of the Union address.
$400,000 a year will pay an additional penny in new taxes. Not a single penny.
David points out we already cut the cost of childcare by giving people money, then you uncut the cost of childcare.
They're going to get so crushed
may be
in the
wrong,
midterms.
But
This
my
is
guess
did
is
not
we took
bode
a
well for
secret
the
ballot
Democratic
in
Party.
this floor that we'd all agree that the present tax system ain't fair.
Ain't
We
fair.
have to fix it.
That's classic
looking
Joe
to
Biden
punish anybody.
politicking.
Anyway,
Fair.
Let's
Vlad,
make corporations and wealthy Americans start paying their fair share. Look,
Ah, there's
year-
Liz with Aunt B's
last
cheekbones.
year,
Oh, she's not wearing a Ukraine thing. Interesting.
And like Chris Coons and Tom Carper and my distinguished Congresswoman, we come from the land of corporate America. There are more corporations incorporated in America than every other state in America combined.
Okay, so
Yes, so
And I
because
still
they're
won
tax
36
cheats.
years in a
Delaware,
row.
yeah.
So why are you
The point
bragging about
is-
this?
I know.
Even they understand they should pay just a fair share. Last year, 55 of the Fortune 500 companies earned $40 billion in profit and paid zero in federal taxes.
I don't see a
Now
problem
look,
with that.
Ooh.
it's not fair. That's why I proposed a 15%
Doesn't
minimum
seem
tax rate for
planned.
corporations. We've got,
Wait, what was that? Tax
and that's
corporation?
why in the G7 and other
50%
meetings
tax, I
overseas,
think.
we're able to put together, I was able to be somewhat helpful. 130 countries agree on a global minimum tax rate. So companies can't get out of paying their taxes at home by shipping
Nancy
jobs in
doing it.
factories overseas. It'll raise billions of dollars. That's why I propose closing loopholes for the very wealthy who who pay a lower tax rate than a teacher and a firefighter. So that's my plan, but we'll go in more detail later. We will grow the economy, lower the cost of families. So what are we waiting for? Let's get this done. We all know we've got to make changes.
So why do you think he doesn't just issue like 1 million EOs like FDR?
Executive
I mean, he
orders.
obviously
I
doesn't
don't
want
know
it.
because he doesn't believe in them.
Yeah, he doesn't
Doesn't
believe it.
wanna.
Yeah,
I mean,
because that would be
Right.
While you're
the
at
like
it,
brave
move.
thing to do after this would to like
Confirm my
issue
nomination
40
for
EOs.
Federal
Let them
Reserve.
challenge it. You know, who cares? They're not going
Which plays
to
a
win on every one,
critical role.
overload the system.
And fighting inflation.
Well, you heard what he said during the leak
My
call to
plan
all
will
the
not
black
only lower
folks
costs
who
but give
recommended he
families
do
a fair
exactly
shot.
that.
right.
It will lower
Sherlyn
the
Eichel
deficit.
was like, you could do all this George
The
Floyd
previous
stuff, cussed
administration
her
not
out,
only
and
ballooned
didn't
the
even make her a
deficit with
Supreme
those
Court
tax cuts for
justice.
the very wealthy and
Oh
corporations.
my God! After all that,
It undermined the watchdogs, the job of those to keep pandemic relief funds being wasted. Remember we had those debates about whether or not those watchdogs should be able to see every day how much money was being spent, where was it going to the right place? In my administration, the watchdogs are back.
they are
And we're
where?
gonna go after
Dog.
the
Who
criminals
let the
stole
dogs out?
billions of relief
Who let the
money
watchdogs
meant
out?
for small business and millions of Americans. Tonight,
it's
I'm
a
announcing
callback to
that the
Mitt
Justice
Romney.
Department will soon name a chief prosecutor for pandemic fraud.
Merrick Garland.
And look,
Kamala looks legit
If we all
excited by
agree,
that.
thank
It's like
you.
some
by the end
prosecutorial.
of this year, the deficit will be down to
Visceral
less
thing.
than half of what it was before I took office. The only president ever to cut the deficit by more than $1 trillion in a single year. Lowering your cost also meant demanding more competition. I'm a capitalist. But
Really?
capitalism without competition is not
Yeah.
capitalism. Capitalism without competition is exploitation. It
That's
drives
kind of
up
radical from Joe.
That's like radical for 1895. It's like
Yeah.
antitrust.
Capitalist.
Their profits
Capitalism.
go up.
yeah.
U.S.
Prices
Steel
go up
shouldn't be
when
the
they
only
don't have to
company.
Yeah.
Small businesses and family
Strong
farmers
Tammany
and ranchers.
Hall
I need
vibes.
not tell some of my Republican
Yeah.
friends from
Energy.
those states.
It's like literally
Guess
the plot of
what?
Atlas Shrugged.
You got 4 basic meat packing facilities. That's it. You play with them or you don't get to play at all. And you pay a hell of a lot more. A hell of a lot more because there's only 4. See what's happening with ocean carriers.
What's Nancy
And moving
saying?
goods in and out of America. During the pandemic, about half a dozen or less foreign-owned companies raised prices by as much as 1,000% and made record profits. Tonight, I'm announcing a crackdown on those companies overcharging American businesses and consumers. And folks,
We need more details, please.
and as Wall Street firms take over more nursing homes, quality in those homes has gone down and costs have gone up. That ends on my watch. Medicare is going to set higher standards for nursing homes.
What's his name? Whitehouse.
And make sure
Sheldon
loved
Whitehouse.
ones get the
It looks
care
like he's
they
taking
deserve
notes.
and that they inspect and they will look at closely. We're also going to cut costs to keep the economy going strong and giving workers a fair shot, provide more training and apprenticeships, hire them based on skills, not just their degrees. Let's pass the Paycheck Fairness Act and paid leave. Raise the minimum wage to $15 an hour.
Yeah, you kind of couldn't do that.
Wow.
Why could you manage that?
$15, guys.
So
Do you
no
hear
one
that?
has to raise a family in poverty. Let's increase Pell Grants, increase our historic support for HBCUs.
Oh my God, what is she making
And
that face
invest-
for?
Joe
Jill,
Biden said he was going
our
to cancel
First
all
Lady who
student
teaches
debt for
full-time,
HBCU
calls
graduates,
America's
and he could do
best-kept
it right
secret,
now with executive
community
order instead of
colleges.
BSing right now.
Look, let's pass the PRO Act. When a majority of workers
Oh,
want
look
to
at those
form a
sleeves.
union,
You
they
like them,
shouldn't
Bray?
be
Those
able
are
to
very
stop.
useful. I feel like you'd wear something like that.
When we
is
invest in our
fun.
workers and we
No
build an
disrespect
economy
to
from
Jill
the bottom
Biden,
up
but
and
I
little
would
out
not.
together, we can do
You would,
something
no,
we
but I
haven't
mean the
done in a
cutout
long
part of
time.
it.
Build a better America.
You like
For more
Use
than
my
2
cutout
years,
statement
COVID has impacted every
differently.
decision in our
No
lives
disrespect to
and the
Dr.
life of this nation. And I know you're tired, frustrated, and exhausted. That doesn't even count the close to a million people who sit at a dining room table or a kitchen table and look at an empty chair because they lost somebody.
It's more than
But I also
no, a
know
million
this,
people died. More
because
than
of
a
the
million
progress
people
we've
are sitting
made,
across the empty
Right.
table.
because of your resilience and the tools
Who's that guy with the
that we
stash?
have been provided
Takes a
by
lot
this
to have a
Congress.
mustache today.
Tonight, I can say we're moving forward safely back to a more normal routines. We've reached a new moment in the fight against COVID-19, where severe cases are down to a level not seen since July of last year. Just a few days ago, the Center for Disease Control and Prevention issued a new mask guideline.
We're seeing squarely on
Under the
Wall
new
Street is
guidelines, most
progressive.
Americans
You don't just investigate.
and most of the country can now go mask-free. And based on projections, more of the country will reach a point
What's her
across
name
that
again?
point
Maggie?
across the next
Margaret?
couple of weeks.
I never remember her name.
Thanks to the progress we've made in the past year, COVID-19 no longer need control our lives. I know some
Marjorie?
are talking about living
Marjorie,
with COVID-19.
thank you. Yeah.
Taylor Green.
But tonight, I say
Thank you. She is fighting
that
a
we
lot for a
never will
fart.
just accept living with COVID-19. We'll continue to combat the virus as we do other diseases. And because this virus mutates and spreads, we have to stay on guard. And here are 4 common sense steps as we move forward safely, in my view. First, stay protected with vaccines and treatments. We know how incredibly effective vaccines are. If you're vaccinated and boosted, you have the highest degree of protection. We'll never give up on vaccinating more Americans. Now, I know parents with kids under 5 are eager to see their vaccines authorized for their children.
Taking a moment just to be a little
Scientists are
honest
working
about
hard
Omicron.
to get that done. We'll be ready with plenty of vaccines
And
if
it
and
still
when they
protects
do.
you from being very sick.
We're
but
all
doesn't-
ready.
You know what I mean? And get a
We
little bit
are
of
also
credibility.
ready with antiviral treatments.
Right.
If you get COVID-19,
They couldn't have
the
seen it
Pfizer
coming,
pill
though, Bree.
reduces your chances of ending up
Why
in
are
the
they
hospital
showing
by
Scalise on this?
90%. I've ordered more pills than
Did he get
anyone in the
COVID?
world has. Pfizer is working overtime to get us 1 million pills this month and more than double that next month. And now we're launching the
It's good that our
Test
healthcare is in
Treat
private companies'
initiative.
hands. That's good
So
stuff.
people can get tested at a pharmacy, and if they prove positive, receive the antiviral pills on the spot at no cost. Folks,
Healthcare sounds great.
if you're
Oh, who's that?
compromised or have
I don't
some
know,
other
weird, right?
vulnerability, we have treatments and free high-quality masks. We're leaving no one behind or ignoring anyone's needs as we move forward. On testing, we've made hundreds of millions of tests
Good point from
available,
Brad.
and
Maybe
you can
talk about
order
how
them
you're
for
going to
free
make
your
vaccine
doorstep.
patent available to the developing world.
We've already ordered free
He will
tests.
not.
If you already ordered free
Right, he
tests
will not.
tonight, I'm announcing you can order
But
another
I thought he was
group of
pro-science.
tests.
Doesn't he understand how
Go to
virology works?
covidtest.gov
He's a
starting
capitalist.
next week, and you can get more
Oh,
tests.
is that what's his name?
Second,
That young
We must
Republican?
prepare for new
Hawthorne,
variants.
whatever.
Over the past, we've
Yeah,
gotten
some
much better
Hawthorne.
at detecting
He's like
new
grooming it.
variants.
He's like getting some
If
lint off of
necessary,
his
we'll
jacket.
be able to develop new vaccines within 100 days instead of maybe months or years. And if Congress provides the funds we need, we'll have new stockpiles of tests, masks, pills ready if needed. I can't promise a new variant won't come, but I can promise you we'll do everything within our power to be ready if it does. Third,
I missed Jerry Nadler. What was I looking at? I missed him. Someone
we can
texted
end the
me.
shutdown of schools and businesses. We have the tools we need. It's time for America to get back to work and fill our great downtowns again with people working from home.
Cancel my
Office
student
space,
debt.
real
Begin to
estate
return to
industry.
their offices. We're doing that here in the federal
See you,
government.
Cardoza.
The
Cancel my
vast
student
majority of
debt.
federal workers will once again work in person. Our schools are open. Let's keep it that way. Our kids need to be in school.
Oh, was Nadler wearing a mask? That's funny. I mean, just funny because it's off-brand for the rest of Congress.
With 75% of adult Americans fully vaccinated and hospitalizations down by 77%, most Americans can remove their masks and stay in the classroom and move forward safely. We achieved this because we provided free vaccines, treatments, tests, and masks. Of course, continuing this costs money, so I'll not surprise you. I'll be back to see y'all.
Oh, it's Jody.
I'm going to soon
Ernst.
send a request to Congress.
Jody,
The vast
pig
majority of
castrating
Americans
Ernst.
have used these tools and may want again.
Awful
We may need them
palate.
again. So I expect Congress, and I hope you'll pass that quickly. Fourth, we'll continue vaccinating the world. We've sent 475 million vaccine doses to 112 countries, more than any nation on
Remove
Earth.
the patent. Waive the
We won't
patent.
stop. Because you can't build a wall high enough to keep out a vaccine. The vaccine can stop
It's great
What?
writing.
spread.
No, that's not
Virus.
true. You mean the
Virus.
virus. The virus, Joe.
You know, we've lost so much in COVID-19. Time with one another. The worst of all, the loss of life. Let's use this moment to reset. So stop looking at COVID as a partisan dividing line. See it for what it is, a god-awful disease. Let's
She
stop
looks angry.
seeing
Why is
each
she so
other as
angry?
enemies.
Hello, Frill.
Start seeing each other for who we are, fellow Americans.
She's seething.
Look,
I think she's like, I can't believe Kamala wore that color. It is so terrible.
Just tired from spending all night digging up the founding father shirt.
Maxine, yeah, why is she so pissed?
we can't change how divided we've been. There's a long time
She
in
looks.
coming.
I think she looks cute though.
We
She
can't
always
change
looks
how to
nice.
move
Maxine?
forward.
Yeah.
Max,
on
yeah, she looks, the
COVID-19 and
outfit's
other
good. I'm
issues
just
that we
wondering
must
why
face
she's so
together.
angry.
I recently visited New York City Police Department days after
Hi,
the
Bessner.
funerals of Officer Wilbur Mora and his partner, Officer Jason Rivera. They were responding to a 9/11 call when a man shot and killed them with a stolen gun. Officer Mora was 27 years old.
Oh,
Officer Rivera was 22 years old. Both
Why are they
Dominican
talking
Americans
when the camera's on
who
them?
grew up in the same streets that they later chose to parole.
I don't think it's like a
patrol
baseball
as
game,
police
Katie, where they
officers.
can see
I was
themselves
gonna
on
say
a
they
family.
need
monitor.
that. What's that thing called? The kiss
And I
cam
told
or
them
There's no
whatever?
that we're forever
Jumbotron in
indebted
there.
for their
Jumbotron.
sacrifices, and will carry on their mission to restore the trust and safety of every community deserves. Like some of you that have been around for a while,
Tim Scott, right? Yeah.
I've worked with you on these issues for a long time. I know what works. Investigating crime prevention and community policing, cops who walk the beat,
So who's this
who know
for?
the neighborhood,
Like
who
suburban
can restore
voters
trust and
that
safety.
Yeah,
serious
for the
crime?
suburbs.
Let's not
Yeah.
abandon our streets.
We support the
I choose
police.
between safety
Support the
and equal
police.
justice.
Propaganda.
Not
Let's
feel
come
like a
together
very
and protect our communities, restore trust, and
I bet
hold
the
law
Pod Johns are going
enforcement
to drag this
accountable.
tomorrow.
That's why the Justice Department has required body cameras, banned chokeholds, and
Good
restricted
call. Good.
no-knocks warrants
Everyone
for
is
its
out to dress
officers.
like a brownie or a
That's
blue
why the
raspberry
American Rescue
popsicle.
Plan that you all
My sense
provided
is that
$350 billion
what's it? Pod
that
Save America.
cities, states, and
They
counties can
probably have
use
disdain for
to hire
Biden,
more
right?
Look
police,
at
invest in
Clyburn's,
more
glasses.
proven
Yeah, they
strategies.
think he's a joke. Like
Look at the
Yeah,
glasses
they're
that
applauding
are-
$350
He's a
million
machine
for
politician,
police.
right? He's not a meritocrat.
Yeah, well, they
Yeah.
had. Well, you know, Leslie Clyburn's the most radical member of Congress. No, most progressive member of
Proven
Congress,
strategies
according
like
to
community
sources
violence
including.
interruption, trusted messaging,
Clyburn.
breaking the cycle of violence and trauma, and giving young people some hope. We should all agree the answer is not to defund the police.
That's why.
It's
They,
to
that's
fund
why
the
they shot.
police.
They showed Clyburn.
Fund
Sorry,
them.
Oh,
Instead
Kamala.
of course. I'm surprised they didn't go to Clyburn for that
Show
whole thing.
AOC. Show AOC.
Show LZ.
Resources
I want
and
to see their
training.
faces.
Resources and
Progressive
training they
Caucus.
need to protect our communities.
We need
I
like
ask
a.
Democrats and Republicans alike.
Is there like a
You're really not gonna
C-SPAN
to
2
pass
with
my budget
alternate
and keep our
angles?
neighborhoods safe.
That
We'll
feels
do everything in my power to
planned that
crack
they didn't
down
do
on
a
gun
single
trafficking
progressive during
of
that.
ghost guns.
They actually
You can
haven't
buy
shown them.
online,
Where are they the whole
assemble at
time? There's
home.
no
No serial numbers.
no one except
Can't be
AOC once.
traced.
Where's
I asked
Bernie?
Congress to pass proven measures to reduce gun violence. Pass universal background checks. Why should anyone on the terrorist
Who's
list
that? Is
be
that,
able to
Oh,
purchase
there we
weapons?
go. We got one
Why?
progressive.
But that's
Why?
Oh, Rashida back there doing the
Folks.
tiniest claps in the world.
yeah.
Ban assault weapons
That's
with high
the- what's his
capacity
name?
magazines hold up to 100 rounds. You think the deer are wearing Kevlar vests? Look, repeal the liability shield.
that's
It
an
makes
old
gun
line from
manufacturers
him.
the only industry in America that can't be sued. The only one.
With who people in
Imagine
can't
had
be
we
sued?
done that with the tobacco
Oh,
manufacturers.
the gun industry.
Gun.
Yeah.
These laws
I
don't
mean,
infringe on the
you made it
Second
so that I
Amendment.
couldn't
They save
discharge my
lives.
student loan debt, but never
The
mind.
most
let's talk about
fundamental
that.
right in America is the right to vote and have it counted. And look, it's under assault. In state after state, new laws have been passed. Not only to suppress the vote, we've been there before, but to subvert the entire election. We can't let this happen. Tonight, I call on the Senate to pass the Freedom to Vote Act, pass the John Lewis Act, Voting Rights Act. And while you're at it, pass the Disclose Act so Americans know who's funding our election. Look, tonight, I like to honor someone who dedicated his life to serve this country. Justice Breyer, an Army veteran, constitutional scholar, retiring Justice of the United States Supreme Court. Justice
Look
Breyer,
at him with his hand over his
thank you
heart.
for your service. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I mean it. Get up, can't let him see you.
He's
Stop
verklempt.
having.
He's verklempt. He's totally verklempt over this.
Oh my god, it's so annoying.
Katie, do you watch The Real Housewives of
We
Salt Lake
all
City?
know,
No, should I?
One of them used
no
the
matter what your
phrase
ideology, we all
verklempt.
know one
A lot of
the
people don't know how to
serious
use that word. Have you noticed that?
constitutional
Right,
responsibilities
Oh, she
She's
did?
from
is nominating
yeah,
someone to
she's a Jewish
serve
woman from Chicago.
on the United States Supreme Court. As I did 4 days ago, I've
Dang,
nominated
you're a
Circuit Court
Housewives
of Appeals
aficionado?
Oh, hell yeah. Well,
Ketanji
not an
Brown Jackson,
aficionado. Just Salt Lake.
one of
and
our nation's top
Vanderpump
legal
is like
minds,
the best shows ever made. Not anymore.
who continue to
First 4
justify
seasons go up
Breyer's
against The Wire and The Sopranos in my opinion.
legacy of excellence.
I'm big in the Beverly Hills.
A former top
Yeah, that's a good one too.
litigator in
That's another
private
one I like.
practice,
I hear it like
a
Atlanta's
former
also
federal
really
public
good.
defender,
New York's a really
from a
good. but I-
family of public school educators and police officers.
Bree, what do you think of
She's
his
a
nom?
consensus builder.
What I
Since
hear
she's
of him,
been
sorry?
nominated, she's received
What do you think
a
of his
broad range
nom?
of
His
support,
SCOTUS nom.
including the Fraternal
I
Order
haven't
of
actually
Police and
dug
former
into it.
Looked into
judges
her
supported
very
by
much yet. I've been
Democrats
too
and
busy trying
Republicans.
not to be an ignoramus on
Folks,
Ukraine.
All right.
The people
Got it.
who I
For
like
her to
say
advance
this
liberty
is
and
whatever.
justice,
She's a public defender. That's
we
good.
need to secure
good,
our
yeah.
border and fix the immigration system.
Look at that slob.
Ted Cruz gets
Such
the
a
highlight
slob.
here.
Shave your
Hey,
face.
Katie, representation.
I know
Wait, his
representation
beard is
does matter.
awful.
That's true.
How dare
You
you?
might guess,
He's a member
I
of
think
my
we can
community.
do both. At our border, we've
What were they
installed
just
new
shouting?
technology like cutting-edge scanners to better detect drug smuggling. We've set up joint patrols with Mexico and Guatemala to catch more human
Oh, great.
traffickers.
War and
We're
drugs.
putting
Good
in
stuff.
place
Yeah,
dedicated
that always ends
immigration
well.
judges, a significant larger number, so families fleeing persecution and violence can have their cases heard faster, and those who don't legitimately hear can be sent back. We're screening, we're securing commitments,
Oh,
and
on the
supporting
phone.
partners in South and Central America to host more refugees and secure their own borders. We can
Oh,
do
that
all
sounds
this
good.
while keeping lit the torch
Do
of
not
liberty
come.
that has led a generation of immigrants to this land. My forebears and many of yours. Provide a pathway to citizenship for dreamers, those with temporary status, farm workers, essential workers.
When was
Revise
the last
our
time we did
laws
that in '86? Was that the last blanket amnesty?
so businesses have workers they need.
Under
Families
Reagan.
don't wait decades to
I think
reunite.
so. It was like a McCain
It's not only
thing,
the
or
right thing to do, it's
remember?
economically smart thing to do. That's why
Yeah.
the immigration reform is supported by everyone from labor unions to religious leaders to the U.S. Chamber of Commerce. Let's get it done once and for
Get her
all.
done.
I think like roughly, if I remember from my immigration history, like every 30, 35 years, there's like some sort of amnesty program, and we're like overdue for one.
Advancing liberty and justice also requires
If I get that
protecting
wrong,
the rights of women.
don't yell
The
at me.
constitutional right affirmed by Roe v. Wade, standing precedent for half a century, is under attack as never before. If you want to go forward, not backwards, we must protect access to health care, preserve a woman's right to choose, and continue to advance maternal health care for all Americans.
By the way, I'm really glad I didn't put folks have a
Folks.
shot every
Oh
time
my
you
God,
drink.
look
He
at
says
her.
folks.
For our LGBTQ
Or else we'd be
so mad.
flustered.
Let's
She's so
finally
mad
get
that he
the
mentioned
bipartisan
abortion.
Equality Act.
Do people like
said
her
it.
like Scalia?
The
Briahna, is
onslaught
that
of
like a
state
thing
law
or no?
Scalia was
Transgender
charismatic.
Americans
What does
and
she
their
have? She
families.
just looks like she's in a
Wait,
cult.
wait.
The handmaid.
And I don't say that
She's
because she is in a cult.
not
She just
handmaid.
looks
She's
He
like
one of
didn't
the
mention
wives.
abortion. He said maternal health care. He's doing that Black maternal health care
So you can be
tap
yourself
dance again.
and reach
That's
your God-given
meaningless. I
potential.
just want to be really clear. He's not mentioned
Folks.
abortion, right?
No, but they never do, don't they? Right? Did he
said
say
right
woman's
to
right to
choose.
choose? Yeah,
Yeah,
As
right
I've
to choose.
they don't ever say
just
abortion.
demonstrated, all
No, that's what I
often
meant.
appears we
I
do
didn't mean
not
literally
agree.
say it, but I didn't hear him say right to choose. I
And
heard him
that-
say the Black
Oh.
maternal mortality
we
rate
do
stuff
agree on a
again.
lot
I
more
think
things
he said
than
right
we
to choose.
acknowledge.
Said right to
Yeah,
choose.
he
A
mentioned
reproductive.
it. Yeah.
I signed
health or
80
choice, maybe.
bipartisan bills into law last year,
How about you write some executive
from
orders?
preventing
Pass some
government
executive
shutdowns,
orders.
protecting Asian Americans from still too
I think
common
Bernie
hate
would have used
crimes,
executive orders.
reforming military
think?
justice,
Thing,
Of
yeah.
course.
and will soon be strengthening the Violence Against Women Act that I first wrote 3 decades ago. It's important.
What did his thing about
important for us
Asian
to
Americans
show-
do? Turn it into a hate
show
crime?
the nation.
Yeah, I don't know.
We
He
can come
said
together and do big things.
we tackled the
Tonight
problem,
I'm
which is
offering a
still a
unity agenda
big
for the nation.
problem.
4 big things we can do together in
When
my
it came
view.
Also
to
hate crime
Asian hate
legislation.
crime.
Beat the
That ain't it.
opioid epidemic. There's so much we can do. Increase funding for prevention,
Look at that dress.
harm
That's
reduction, and
ooh, I
recovery.
like
Get rid
that.
of
What is
outdated
that?
rules
She
and
looks like
stop
she looks like
doctors
the Oscar.
and
Yeah, it
that
does look
stop
nice.
doctors prescribing.
Brianna's
That's
right
nice.
there, and they're not zooming in
Treatments.
on her ever.
Stop the flow of illicit
Brianna
drugs
Presley?
by working with
I
state
didn't
and
see her.
local law enforcement to go after the traffickers. And if you're suffering from addiction, you
Like my
know
son.
you're not alone. I believe in recovery, and I celebrate the
For
23
my
million,
son, not for the people
23
you
million
locked up.
Americans in
Yes.
recovery.
You
Second,
guys know what?
Shit.
You guys know what
Let's take
Biden's
on
secret
mental
service
health.
name is?
Biden's what?
especially among our children
What
whose
Biden's Secret
lives and
Service name is?
education have been
No, what?
turned upside down.
What is it?
American Rescue
Celtic.
Plan gave schools money to
Celtic?
hire teachers and help
Celtic.
students make up for lost
CELTIC.
learning.
I can't hear
I
you for
urge
some reason.
every
There's some
parent
weird.
to
Write
make
it in
sure
the
your
chat or
school-
in the
Your school does just
in
that.
the private
They
thing.
have the money.
The chat or public
We
chat.
can all play a part.
For some reason,
Sign
your
up to
sound.
be a tutor
Celtic.
or a mentor.
Oh, it is
Children were
Celtic.
also
Okay.
struggling before the pandemic.
Interesting.
Bullying, violence,
Did
trauma,
you just put him at risk?
and the harms
by
of
saying
social
that?
media. As
No,
Francis
it's a parody on.
Haugen, who is here tonight with us, has shown, we must hold social media platforms accountable
Oh,
for
it's
the
that woman
national
from Facebook.
experiments
She
they're conducting
sucks.
on our children for profit.
I like the way she nodded, like she was surprised, like she didn't know where that was going. Like, good point, Joe.
Folks, thank you.
Who
Thank
was
you
that
for the
woman who
courage
looked
you
like the
showed.
Oscar?
It's time
I don't
to
know, but it
strengthen
seemed like she knew
privacy
she was sitting
protection.
next to AOC, so she
Ban
had to come
targeted
with some drip.
advertising to
Right.
children.
And she did.
Demand tech companies stop collecting personal data on our children. And let's get all Americans the mental health services they need. More people can turn for help and full parity between physical and mental health care if we treat it that way in our insurance. Look,
He didn't say Kiev tonight or Kiev. I'm kind of upset. I want to hear Kiev.
the third piece of that agenda is support our veterans. Veterans are the
Nancy almost
backbone
fell over
and
there.
the spine
He
of this
jumped
country.
up.
They're
Right?
the best of us. I've always believed that we have a sacred obligation to equip those we send to war and care for those and their family when they come home.
Cryptos, he said?
My administration
Equip
providing
those.
assistance in
He's
job
equip.
training,
Oh.
housing, and now helping lower-income veterans get VA care debt-free. And our troops in Iraq in Afghanistan have faced many dangers, one being stationed at bases breathing in toxic smoke from burn pits. Many of you have been
Oh my
there.
God, why is she rubbing her
I've
hands
been in and
together
out
at
of
burn
Iraq and
pits?
Afghanistan over
That was
40
so weird.
times. These burn pits
That looks like Rahm
incinerate
Emanuel
waste,
meets Tony
the waste
Snow.
of war, medical and hazards material, jet fuel, and so much more. And they come home. Many of the world's fittest and
I
best
thought he said
trained
cryptos,
warriors
too.
in the world.
It's like
Never the
every
same.
war we come up with a new
Headaches,
syndrome to give
numbness,
our
dizziness.
soldiers.
That's true.
Now we
A
got fire
cancer
pits.
that
It
would
was
put
Gulf
them
War
in
syndrome.
a flag
It was
draped
Agent
coffin.
Orange.
I know.
He didn't mention Havana syndrome,
Oh,
right?
there's someone protesting.
One of those soldiers was my son, Major Bo Biden. I don't know
Someone's
for sure if the
protesting.
burn pit that he lived near, that his hooch was near in
His what?
Iraq and earlier than that in Kosovo, is the cause of his brain cancer, the disease of so many other troops. But I am committed to find out everything we can. Committed.
Is he
to military
accusing the
families
U.S.
like
government
Danielle
of killing
Robinson
his
from
son?
Ohio,
I
the widow
mean,
of Sergeant First Class Heath Robinson.
wow.
He was born a soldier, Army National Guard, combat medic in Kosovo and Iraq, stationed near Baghdad, just yards from burn pits the size of football fields. Danielle is here with us tonight. They loved going to Ohio State football games.
Yeah, did he say hooch? What's the hooch thing?
And he loved
Must be a
building
military
Legos
term.
with their daughter.
Or he misspoke.
Cancer from prolonged exposure
This
to
is one of the
burn pits
worst speeches I've ever seen in my
ravaged
life.
Heath's lungs and body.
It is
Danielle
so
says
boring.
Heath was a fighter
The
to the
content
very
aside,
end.
it's just not. It's
He
not
didn't
good.
know how to stop fighting.
Yeah, it's just poorly written,
And neither
poorly
did she.
delivered. There's no
And
message.
her
again,
pain,
not
she
a
found
State of the
purpose.
Union.
Right.
Not
Demand
about
that we do better.
things he's already
Tonight,
done.
Danielle, we
It
are
seemed
going
like
to
he
do
was
better.
most pumped when he was
The
talking
VA
about the corporate tax law.
About what?
VA is
Corporate
pioneering new
tax
ways
law.
of linking
Yeah.
toxic
That
exposure
seemed to
to
like when he was
disease,
really
already helping
vitalized.
more
Also
veterans get
funding the
benefits.
police.
And tonight,
Right.
Yes.
I'm announcing we're expanding eligibility to veterans suffering from 9 respiratory cancers. I'm also calling on Congress to pass a law to make sure veterans devastated by toxic exposure in Iraq and Afghanistan finally get the benefits and the comprehensive health care they deserve.
My mom was on top of this for a while. Nora Eisenberg. When You Come Home to Me, she wrote about Gulf War syndrome.
Hmm.
And fourth and last, let's end cancer as we know it.
And
This is
cancer.
personal.
You don't get up for that? You guys don't literally, you don't get up for ending cancer? Okay, thank you.
And you're like,
They like had to be, they had to be cajoled by us.
After I got yelled at for saying that cancer patients should get Medicare for all because
Right.
Kamala's mother passed away
This is
regretfully
personal
of
to me and to
cancer,
Jill and to Kamala.
I can't be the one that
And
won't
so
take the
many
heat.
of you.
We all take,
So
we
many
got
of
it.
you have
We
lost
got it.
someone
You were
you love.
yelled at for that
Husband,
by
wife,
like
son,
the internet.
daughter, mom,
By, like,
dad.
By
K-Hive.
K-Hive, yeah.
Cancer is the
trended on
number 2
Twitter.
cause of death in America, second only to heart disease.
Hey,
Last
that's
month-
never a good feeling.
I announced the plan to supercharge the cancer moonshot that President Obama asked me to lead 6 years ago.
Debbie Wasserman
Our goal is
Schultz.
to
the
cut
fact that
seen
they
you in
keep
so long.
bringing
by at
her
least
around.
50% over the next
Just a
25
while.
She looks like
years.
she
I
got
think we can do
younger.
better than that.
But like, okay, I
Turn
can't finish
cancers
my, I'm not going to finish
from
my
death
I mean,
sentence.
she lives in
into
Florida. We know
treatable
what
diseases.
happened. We know what happened.
More support for patients and their
Speaking
families.
of, I loved it. Have you seen Nip
To get there, I call on Congress to
Have I seen
fund
what?
the
what
show
I
Nip
call
Tuck?
ARPA H.
Mm-mm. Should I watch it?
Advanced,
Yes.
All right, I'll watch it.
Oh,
advanced
really?
research
That's interesting.
projects
That was
agency
a
for
definite
health.
yes.
Pattern after DARPA in the
I
Defense
love it.
Department.
Great
Really?
show.
I've never
Projects
I've heard
that led
good
in
things. I'll check it
DARPA
out.
to the internet, GPS, and
stays
so much
consistent?
more to make our
Oh my God, have you
forces
guys seen
No,
the show?
but it's
safer
pretty good
and
for
be
the
able
first
to
4
wage
seasons.
war more.
Okay.
more
Yeah, I feel like
clarity.
4 seasons when they felt they
ARPA
usually
will
fall
have a
off.
singular
Vikings did.
purpose to drive
Have you seen
breakthroughs in
In From the
cancer,
Cold?
Alzheimer's, and diabetes.
Oh, is that any good? That's like the New
More.
Americans,
A
right?
unity agenda for the
Total
nation.
schlock, but kind of
We
Yeah.
can do
entertaining.
these things.
Waz
It's
said he
within
was
our
going to watch it,
power,
and then he never
and I don't
spoke
see a
about it again.
partisan edge
So I
to any
assumed
one
he
of
was-
those 4
Look
things.
at Manchin.
My fellow Americans,
He won't stand up for anything.
Tonight-
Oh, he clapped for Joe. Wow.
we've gathered in this sacred space, a citadel of democracy,
Drink
in this capital.
for that platitude.
Generation after generation of Americans have debated great questions amid great strife and have done great things.
Is that where Charles
We fought
Sumner
for
was beaten up?
freedom.
Was it in the Capitol?
Expanded liberty,
I don't know.
debated totalitarianism and terror.
Terror.
We built the strongest, freest, and most prosperous nation the world has ever known.
Look at Mitt Romney.
Now is the hour.
Kind of handsome.
Our moment of responsibility.
Don't tell anyone I said that, guys.
Our test of resolve and conscience, of history itself. It is in this moment that our character of this generation is formed. Our purpose is found. Our future is forged. Well, I know this nation. We'll meet the test, protect freedom and liberty, expand fairness and opportunity,
Long speech,
and we will save
too.
Yeah,
democracy.
seriously.
As hard as those times
Without
have been,
saying
I'm more
anything.
optimistic about America
It actually
today
didn't
than I've
feel
been
that
my whole
long
life,
because he hadn't
because
said
I see the
anything.
future that's within our grasp.
I can't believe it's been like an
Because
hour.
I know there's simply nothing beyond our capacity.
I'm just drinking because I'm bored now.
We're the only nation on earth that has
Capacity.
always
It's
turned
extremely
every
boring.
crisis we faced into an opportunity. The only nation that can be defined by a single word, possibilities. So on this night, on our 245th
Yeah,
year
where's
as a nation,
Bernie?
I've come to report on the state of the nation, the state of the union.
Oh, he
And
fucked
my
that
report
up.
is this.
The
The
state of the
union is strong
nation.
because you, the American people, are strong. We
That's
are
it.
stronger today. We are stronger today than we were a year ago. And we'll be stronger a year from now than we are today. This is our moment to meet and overcome the challenges of our time. And we will, as one people, one America.
Oh God,
the
drink, drink,
United
drink, drink,
States of
drink.
America.
This is just
God
cliche
bless you
versus
all,
cliche. And
May
God bless
protect our troops.
our troops.
Thank you.
Where is Bernie?
Go get him.
Go get him? That's so amazing. Did he literally end his speech with "Go get him"?
Yes, I guess Putin.
That's so Biden. Does he mean Putin?
Does he mean Putin?
Or does he
I-
mean him, like the proverbial, just like go get him, like
The
get her? It's like
haters.
get her done.
in general. I don't know.
Wow.
It seemed like
Oh, there's
Putin.
Amy. Look at Chloe.
Oh, she's so
Clothes.
thirsty.
She's so thirsty. She's really hated, by the way.
That's what happens when you throw a stapler at people.
Yeah.
Well,
And
I
make
thought she
someone-
was. She hated for the one good thing she ever did,
Which is make someone give them her comb to eat their a salad with.
Or the dry
Oh
shave
no!
under the table.
No, so I'm sorry. I'm thinking of the other Amy. So my bad.
Oh, okay. Military pollutes communities all across the country and the world, and groundwater and soil. Defund the military if you want to help. True.
I think the best part of the speech is when I was told to watch Nip Tuck. I'm gonna start watching that now.
Yeah.
Oh, I loved Nip Tuck. That little
Yeah,
boy
so
that
it's good.
looked
Okay,
like
I've
Michael
heard.
Jackson.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm in.
You meant go get
it's like one of the
cancer.
big ones that I haven't watched yet.
Oh, I love Nip
Is
Tuck
Suits
so
any
much.
good?
Leslie,
I
look at
don't-
us agreeing on something.
Yeah, I love Nip Tuck. Suits. I don't think Suits is like good. I think it was just like I don't think people who watched it because it was good. It just 'cause
Bernie
it's,
didn't
like,
get a seat. Social distancing.
a fun show, but it's not like a.
I
It
couldn't
might
give
be
a
mine.
damn.
People
They're
are so
associated.
calcified. They are calcified. When is the Republican response?
What
oh,
is
look at,
this-
Oh, look who that is.
This lady
From
doing.
Camilla.
Jayapal.
Oh, there's
my,
Karen Bass.
home state senator.
Karen Bass's outfit is top notch. I'm loving this color palette.
It's like raspberry strawberry
Oh, that's
combo.
nice. That is nice.
It is nice. We are stronger because 8,500,000 weak people died of COVID. What's his name? What's his name? I can never remember. Millie. There's Millie. Who looks like John Goodman. Doesn't he look like he's being played by John Goodman?
Yes.
Right?
Character John Goodman is played in the movie. Yes, he does.
He looks like the angry dad on Ren and Stimpy. Do you guys remember that guy?
Mm-mm.
Who's always mad. No. Okay.
Ren and Stimpy always freaked me out.
Oh,
Yeah,
there's
it's
that
really
Connecticut congresswoman who has purple hair. What's her name? Rosa DeLauro or something? I always think she's going to be more radical than she actually is just because she has purple hair.
Well, she's doing the Kristen Cinema.
Yeah, the cinema
Yeah, but she
thing.
was doing it years before. All right, when do we get to hear from the Republican?
Oh God.
I'm gonna need a snack.
I know I'm really hungry. There's that
Oh.
woman, Lady Long Stockings. I still don't know who she is and why she's wearing knee highs. Maxine has spent her full career making sure she is in the camera shot. That's not, I mean, yes. The sound is so bad, right? They're congratulating him for being alive. That may be true.
You did a great job, Joe.
Yeah, Joe, he did, yeah.
I'm sorry. Are we really not worried about Omicron at all? Is that what's happening?
Yeah, I guess COVID's done.
Thanks,
It's
Sherry.
over.
These
So
people
is
are
there another
all,
variant?
There's
There
going to be
is.
another one, right?
well, if people behave like this, these people are all older, you know, at risk. It seems like a lot. I don't know.
It's hubris is what it is. I think you
It is
were
hubris,
saying,
yeah.
Brie, and I think it is hubris, and
Yeah.
I think
All right,
they're
should
going to
we
end up paying for it.
do we even need to listen to when is this Republican response? Do we need to listen to that or should we just do
No,
No, let's just do it. Should we just do a call-in?
I'll do a call-in. Sure.
All right. Guys, this
I'll
was really Sorry?
I'll have to call it a night, though. But,
You what?
I'll have to call it a night.
You have a call-in?
No, I'll have to call it a night. I was doing a
Oh, you'll
pun.
have to call it a night. Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
So, well, Dan, can you come on call in a little for little Bree?
Yeah. I could do it. I
right,
could do it
then-
till 8,
all right,
but at 8,
awesome.
I've gotta
Yeah,
go.
that's our 11. Yeah, it won't be long. Bree, do you have a few moments?
Can I make myself a rice
Yeah.
bowl first?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
I just gotta fry an egg.
No, yeah, I hear you. Yeah. Yeah. Shout out for so let's just do call-in. We don't need to do so everyone go to the call-in link which we put on the right in here. I'm gonna go into call-in.
Katie, do we use
Oh,
this
there's
same
Jamal
app?
Bowman.
Oh wow, looking very chummy. Sorry, what did you say?
Do we use the same app or should I use my phone?
I'll send just use call-in. So we're gonna get off of this.
Okay, I've used it before. Okay.
Yeah, all
Good
right.
seeing you guys. Good seeing you, Leslie.
All right,
Have a
yeah.
good night.
All
Good
right.
seeing
See you
y'all.
guys on
you.
call-in. Does
Have a
everyone
good
know where
night.
that is? It's in the link. Thank you, Leslie. Thank you,
Thank you,
Daniel. Thank you,
Katie.
Bree. Thank you, Tyler. Thank you, Brad. And see
Thank
you
you,
guys on
Katie.
Sunday on the Katie Halper Show. Make sure you like, subscribe, become Patreon supporters. I highly recommend becoming Patreon supporters to be able to hear our chat with Yasha Levine about the Azov battalion, and also our full chat with Chris Hedges and Phyllis Bennis. Okay,
great.
so thank you. So I will see you guys at call-in. Okay, bye everyone. Love you. Subscribe. Bye.